Okay. All right. I remembered to record right from the start this time. Amazing. Let's see. We have 7 students. That number might change. 8 students. That's a good number. Hey, Ralph. How's it going?
Pretty well. I made it for the early class.
Yeah, this is the 3rd session.
So
this is not the early class.
Together?
Yeah,
well, it's early
I'm
for
just
me
doing
because
4.
I'm on the West Coast.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's like, what is it, like 9 a.m. your time?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I guess it's really early, but feels like first thing.
So Christian Paul says he's going to lurk in this one.
If that's all right.
I don't know. He has to ask my permission to be let in. So,
Let me in. Please.
Yes, you may come in.
Now we're all doomed.
Yeah.
We'll be moving
should
back
not
and
have done
forth
that.
in the darkness.
I think I'm probably going to edit this part out of the video too, because like nobody's going to know what the hell we're talking about. It's like an inside joke that even I forgot the origin of, but like Christian sent me an email that was like, I lurk in the darkness, let me in. And I was like, are you a vampire? But then I used the Coptic word because, you know, it's kind of fun that there is a Coptic word for vampire. It's wam snuff, which literally means blood eater. So wom means to eat. And then to make the nomina gentis, or the person who does X, you use a different vowel, right? So wom is the verb, wham is the person who does the verb. So an eater, and then snuff is blood. So it's like blood eater. So yeah, so that ended up being a thing that we say all the time now. That its origins are kind of obscured.
Wham snuff.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to write down some names so I can call on you guys. Christian, do you want to answer the exercises again? Want another stab at it?
I'll leave it to the other students. I don't want to steal any face time.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fair. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to trim recordings like this because there's always dead time at the beginning until everybody shows up.
AA, do you prefer to be called AA?
That sounds good.
Okay. What's your actual first name, just so I can keep track of everyone?
Andrew.
Andrew, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, and if anybody, you know, put what you prefer to be called in the Zoom, and if you have a different preference, you can always just tell me. I feel like that's like, life is so complicated and morality is filled with mystery and quandary. But the one moral rule that I love, because it's never wrong, is call people what they want to be called. I feel like you solve so many issues by just saying, like, just call people whatever the hell they want to be called. You know, you can solve all the controversy regarding transgender pronouns. It's like, I don't think I should have to use your pronouns, but call people what they want to be called. Oh, okay. Controversy over. I will use whatever pronouns you say because I'll call you what you want to be called. It is the best moral law that there has ever been, because it's never wrong. Okay. So yeah, if you tell me you want to be called something different, I will call you that different thing. Okay, so I have a little short agenda here, just some things I want to go over in the recording. I'm going to like hold something up so I know where to cut the recording. Okay, so getting started. Second week, September 12th, 2020. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show you all some things. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is the suggestion box. So there's a link to this in the syllabus here, second page, I think. And this is a place where you can just enter an anonymous message to me and I just get them. I don't know who sent them. And we actually have one already. Someone pointed out that last week I said that all English words beginning with a vowel also begin with a glottal stop. So the word apple, for example, also has its glottal stop A-P-P-L-E, or, whatever. I just mixed phonetic and English orthography, but you get the idea. There's always a glottal stop. That's not really true. The correct situation, or the correct description, is that the glottal stop is allophonic on the beginnings of English words that begin with vowels. So you can have it or you cannot have it, and it doesn't change the meaning at all. So for example, I can say, for come on, I can say come on with no glottal stop before the word on, or I can say come on with a glottal stop, and it doesn't actually change the meaning. And in general, in linguistics terms, when we want to find out whether a sound is phonemic, meaning that it is linguistically meaningful within a certain language, we'll look for a minimal pair. So a minimal pair is two words that differ only by one sound and mean something different. So for example, pat and hat differ only by the initial consonant sound, but they have a different meaning. So P and H are phonemically distinct in English because they can change the meaning of a word. Whereas pat and pat, unaspirated versus aspirated P, those aren't two separate words. So the difference between aspiration on an initial P is not phonemic in English. You're free to choose whichever one. It tends to be determined by context. So this is a great thing to point out. It's a great use of the suggestion box. I will also say that if at any time you would like to correct me on something, you should just unmute yourself, interrupt me, and give me the correction, because I'm really happy to hear what you say. I don't mind being corrected, and I want to make sure that I give you all the correct information. But you can do it anonymously too if you're more comfortable with that. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the Patreon. So I created a Patreon for this course just because so many people were interested, and it seems like there's demand. So maybe this is something I can do, spend more time on, either like part-time at least. So I wanted to see if people were willing to support me doing this. I got an email from someone last week that said, I'm waiting on my Social Security check, but I'll contribute to the Patreon next month. If that's your kind of situation, please do not contribute to the Patreon. If your finances are limited, that's not what it's for. It's really for supporting this project if you have the means to do so. You should have no sense that you should have no sense of obligation. You don't need to do that. It's just it's a patronage relationship. Let me see. I think we got Mustafa. You just came in, checking the numbers, and Celery.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see 10 students. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that. I'd love it if you support my Patreon, because that can, for me, I can justify spending more time on this, because obviously, my time costs money. I have to have a place to live. I have to eat, all those kind of things. But if you are on a limited budget, please do not contribute to that. You're the person that this class should be free for. Just FYI. Okay. So just general housekeeping. Does anyone have any questions about the course? Any questions about timing? No. The one thing I'll say about yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to have a question which doesn't really relate to what you asked me. Just real quick. Have you heard about the Book of Marcians? And if so, have you read it?
The book of what?
The Book of Marcians, one of the Coptic, one of the books in Nag Hammadi library.
Can you spell that name for me? I'm not.
Marsanes. Well, it's okay. I'm just asking if you can. It's all right. If you don't know, it's a quick one. It's okay.
No, I don't think so, but I'll make a note of it to figure out
all
what
right,
it is.
thank you.
I'm gonna try to spell it in the. Is this what you're saying?
Well, yeah, Marsanes. Wait, I'm gonna write it down.
I don't think I've ever seen this. Marcianus. No, I haven't read all the texts in
Okay.
the, Marcion. I haven't read all the texts in the Nag Hammadi collection, but I'll
Okay, no
definitely
worries.
look at it and we can
All right.
consider it. So after this class, there's going to be a couple of options. One is a Coptic reading class, and the other, I think I'm going to do an Egyptian hieroglyphic class. And for the Egyptian hieroglyphic class, I really want Coptic to be a prerequisite because it's going to have a lot of Coptic in it. So everyone in this class will be eligible to join, and I'll probably set up a sort of a, like an entry exam for that. So, stay tuned for those things. That's a while into the future. We have at least half a year of Coptic before we'll even be able to do that, but that's definitely in the works. So hieroglyphic Egyptian should be fun. And then one last thing about scheduling. So you're free to crash other sessions if you want to. I divided up everybody into sessions to try to keep things pretty evenly balanced. But if you don't like the time that I assigned you, just send me an email and I'll change the time for you so that your regular time can be different. But you're also just free to come to a different session. As long as everybody doesn't come to the same session, it shouldn't really be a problem. I just want to make sure everybody gets some face time. Okay. And then the very last thing are the flashcards. So the flashcards are now complete. You can find links to them here. There are the Coptic sentences that I think Christian made some time ago, the sentences in Lambda. Did you make those, Christian?
Yeah, there are some typos
Okay.
here and there, but yeah, I mean,
If you find typos, tell Christian. There's the data entry sheet, which is where we're collecting all the data. And I left it on here just because I thought that someone else might find a different use for these data. You might want to, download them and do something else with them. But this is where we made all the stuff for Anki. And then now there's an Anki deck, which you should get if you can. So the desktop application for Anki is free. The iOS app is kind of expensive. It's actually I think it's $25, but it's well worth it because you can just, you can have your flashcards in your pocket at all time, and it will sync. You can sync it with your Anki web account. And that's just a great way to learn a lot of vocabulary. There's also Quizlet, which has flashcards, and it also has these little games. Especially, I like Match personally. It's kind of fun because you race against the clock to match all these things up. Oh, I can't even find this one. There it is.
There's
yeah.
also in so many there is also so many lecture about ancient languages in Memorize. Maybe you know.
Yeah, you can add links to those. I would put links to those in the Discord. That's a good place for those. Okay, so you have a bunch of options for flashcards. I highly recommend that you do flashcards if you're at all able, because they will have a huge effect on how quickly you grasp new concepts in this class. It's really pretty remarkable how well flashcards work when you're learning a language, because you just need to get a bunch of vocabulary in place, and then yeah, you can just put the grammar on top of it really easy. Why can I not make this smaller? Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. So now we'll go to the exercises, and the way this works is I'm just going to call on people. Let me get the participants panel and see how many people are here. I think it's 10. So almost everyone will get 3 questions. And I'll just call on you pretty much at random, or I'll try to make it as random as possible. So, and what you'll do when you're called on is read the Coptic aloud and then give the English translation. If you're not comfortable answering, you can just remain silent, and I'll give you a count to 5 to speak up before we move on to someone else. But I would like to suggest that even if you feel not very confident about your answer, still try to speak up and answer when it's your turn, because any mistakes or misunderstandings that you have will give us something to talk about and allow us to discuss these things further. And it'll be helpful for everyone else in the class. Okay, so just getting started. With the first three, how about Ethan?
Let's see. So the first one, he to he.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty close. I would say he dehye.
He to
It's
he.
an unaspirated T here. English tends to use an aspirated T in this environment. So native English speakers will tend to say he tehye, but we really want he dehye with no aspiration on the T. As a general rule, I will not be very picky about pronunciation until we get more advanced, because really starting out, you're just trying to get close, right? And you
Right.
can refine it further in the future.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that means on the road?
Yep, on the road. Next one. Oh, we're going to do three at a time. Ethan.
Oh. He ptooi or pto'u.
Yeah, good. Heap do.
Meaning, or sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. I was just going to say you can, like the words all run together, right, as a
Okay.
rule. So heap do.
Pto'u. Meaning on a mountain or monastery?
Not a mountain.
Oh, just on mountain?
Not on mountain either. What does that do for us?
Oh, on the mountain.
Good.
It's the definite article. My mistake.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that last one, is that to he?
Yeah.
And end the road?
In the road. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly
I
correct.
see. Okay.
Okay, so we'll do three more. And how about Hytham? Do you want to take these three?
Okay. Is my voice clear?
Yeah.
First one is A4. It would be hampe.
Good.
That would mean in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Then A5, it would be ha-pe.
Yeah, good.
That is under the house. And is it correct?
Yeah.
Then A6 is ha-pune.
Yeah, very good.
That would be under the stone or the rock. I'm not sure.
Yeah, excellent. Great job, Hytham. Any questions about these three examples? Well, in that case, we'll move on. Good job. Mustafa, you just appeared on screen. Do you want to do these three?
Yeah, of course. He pijume. First one.
Pijume?
Pijume.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how to pronounce. He on the book.
Good. Yeah. Okay, and the next one?
Yeah. Man perume, together with the man.
Good.
Man tehime, together with or with the woman.
Good. Yeah, good job, Mustafa. Any questions about these?
Actually not, but I have a question about word means house. Actually, it is something weird on the grammatic of a house word. You know, in Middle Egyptian word for house per, and something gone on this word. And
What do you mean?
Something.
Something's missing?
For example, the 11, A11. Yeah, something is missing or something is omitted.
Mm. Yeah.
I think it's connection to the Middle Egyptian word per.
Yeah,
But
it's not.
That's not where that word comes from, right?
It's this. It comes from ot, room or house.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, but that's an interesting word. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more actually in the next few sentences because there's something strange about that word. Okay, thanks, Mustafa. Let's see. How about Sam?
First one is Hijin Nihyowa,
Good.
on top of the roads.
Mhm.
Ha Ne, under the houses.
Good.
Hijin Ndo, on top of the mountains.
Good. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent on all three. I want to ask you real quick. Why don't we have ha ne like this? Why doesn't that happen?
I can think of two possibilities.
Okay.
One of which is an etymological one, in that there was possibly a glottal stop at the beginning of a originally.
Yep.
The other one is the thoughts in my head. I'm having a hard time explaining it. There's a significant boundary between a and in, so it's not in a or nay.
Yeah, I think that's the same answer, actually. The significant boundary
Glottal
that
stop.
exists there is the glottal stop. Yeah, which was a really good catch on your part. So I asked that in the previous two classes, and I don't think anyone figured it out. It's not easy to figure out, certainly. But you're the first person who's got it. So etymologically, this had a pharyngeal. It had an ein on the front, and then ein merged with glottal stop before Coptic. So this word actually begins with a glottal stop, and that's why we get N-A, because there's actually a consonant on the beginning of this word. So in general, the rule is if the word begins with a vowel, as in Najeu, we just get regular N. And if the word begins with a consonant, as in N-to, we get this superlinear stroke that makes it a syllabic N. And we have the consonant pattern here because there actually is a consonant. There's a glottal stop, which isn't written. So yeah, good job, Sam. Gold star for figuring that out. Okay, Klaus, do you want to take the next three?
Well, to be honest, this is my first time I joined this course, so I do apologize, but I'm pretty ignorant about pronouncing anything about it. So I'm just learning the first time touching
Okay.
Coptic with my eyes. So.
Do you want us to give you a break this time then?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to tell me how it is pronounced, so I can sort of know for future reference, that would be appreciated, though.
Sure. So this first one, just you can just say along with me then.
Sure.
A13 is hen and a.
Hen and a.
Good.
Okay.
And do you know what that means?
Something about him. No.
Something about him?
Yes, I'm not sure.
That's okay. It's hen means in.
In.
Let me see. Hang on. I'm going to mute
A.
somebody. Okay. Yeah. So hen means in, and then n is the plural article. So the plural, and then a means house. So in the houses.
In the house. Hen and a. Interesting. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to try to read the next one?
And the M. How do you read the first one? The M.
Yeah, M. Men.
M and that's still the N, but differently pronounced.
The superlinear stroke means that it's a syllabic N, or you can think of it as just put an epsilon in front of it.
An epsilon, yeah.
Men.
Men. Oh, please, please read it for me, because really, I don't want to butcher this word.
Sure. Men nehyame.
Men nehyame.
Good. And it means with the women, plural.
Men nehyame. Okay.
And then the last one is heap nuv.
Heap nuv, but that heap is like muted. The heap. It's like a silent almost. Hip noob.
I don't know what thing is silent, but
No, I mean the second one. How you said it? The second word.
nuv
Nuv with F.
with like a V sound.
Oh,
Nuv,
nuv. And what it means?
gold. So this whole thing
The
is
gold.
upon the gold. Yeah.
Upon the gold. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Klaus. I appreciate you kind
Thank
of
you.
fighting your way through it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You did fine. Okay. Let's see. For this one, have I called on Ethan yet? Not sure.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I did the first three.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just didn't mark you. Okay, so who is left? Let's see, AA.
All right. A16, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Pnuv men and Jome,
Mm-hmm.
the gold and the books.
Good.
Pelo men Tello, the old man and the old woman.
Good.
And Prome men Teshime, the man and the woman.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, any questions about these three?
Question about the definite article.
Hmm.
For words like proma, would we say it more smoothly like prom, or would we say it with a more slight separation between the article and the words, like proma?
I honestly don't know. I think either thing is possible, given what I know about Coptic phonetics and phonology. I think it's very likely the case that the Coptic alphabet omits short vowels a lot of the time. And I based that idea on a few examples. We haven't really seen any examples yet, but there are examples of Coptic sentences that are just totally impossible. Like the one that Jim Allen always uses is skeracht. So it's like F.
Skeracht.
Is it this one? I think it's like this. And it's like that's literally impossible. You cannot form all those sounds with your mouth. It's like F, S, K, and then R. Just
you did mention
really,
last time that a Coptic word can't have a vowel. That you can't have more than two consonants in a sequence without being separated
right.
vowel, so.
And those so where those vowels get inserted tends to depend on the specifics of that situation. So in this one, I imagine it would be maybe feskra. Yeah, I imagine it would probably go here, and maybe there's a little dummy vowel in there too, just to break it up. But since you don't know until you form the word exactly where those little short vowels need to go, they don't write them. That's my hypothesis. I think that's how it works. So in that case, you could have parome with like a little inserted vowel, and this is exactly how Coptic would write it. But then if you have two words together, like toward the man would be eprome. Well, then there's a syllable boundary between the P and the R. So then there wouldn't be a short vowel in there because you don't need it. So, yeah. Okay, that's a great question. Anytime we talk about Coptic phonetics, it's really interesting. Okay, so Jed, do you want to take this next three?
Sure. 19 is Nerome min Nehiome, the men and the women.
Mm-hmm.
Then Nehialo min Nehialo, and that would be the old men and the old women.
Good. And the next one, notice it's a complete sentence now.
Yeah. And the next one is Pone Ponehijan Tahin, which is the rock upon the road.
This is not. Can you say
Oh,
that last
sorry.
word?
The rock upon the road. Tehian. Yeah?
I think you're saying tehien with an
Tehian.
N.
Tehia. Tehia. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry. I get I do the Cyrillic N rather than the.
I was going to ask if you studied
Yeah.
Russian.
Yeah.
One question.
Yeah. Go ahead with your question.
So, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Right. So that H-like letter, it's pronounced like an E. The last B1 in the B1.
Yeah, this is Ada. Sounds like eh.
Like E.
Yep.
Tehia.
Yeah. Tehia.
All right. Tehia.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Good. Sure. Okay, let me see who I have left. I'm running out of people somehow. Celery, have you gone?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be awful. I'm going to try.
No, don't do that. You don't have to say that. Just if it's going to be awful, just get on that stage confidently and just bomb with pride. But
Yeah.
really, we'll help you figure it out, right?
Yeah. I actually wrote down all the answers, but I'm trying not to look.
Okay.
So, Nahalo Hitahye,
Mhm.
and that would be the old man is on the road.
Close, very close, except we have in hello.
Oh,
Not-
N. Okay. So I said ne. It's supposed to be N, right?
No, that's not the problem. Although
oh, the old men. Okay.
the old
yes.
men, yeah. I think
I
it's probably
forgot.
okay to say ne hello. And that's something like, if you've never studied another Afroasiatic language, this is really new and weird. But if you have, it makes perfect sense. Really, the consonants are primary in terms of like conveying meaning. The vowels are really secondary to a degree that as long as you have the consonants right, people can generally tell what word you're trying to say. So I don't think it actually matters. Like if you were to get into a time machine and speak to an ancient Egyptian and say nehelo instead of enhelo, it would not be an issue for them to understand you.
All right.
Okay, good job.
So the next one. Nehelo, is it ah?
Yeah,
Okay. Nehelo humpe. So that would be
Good.
the old men are inside of the house.
Not old men this time though. Notice the difference between these two.
Old women. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Old women.
Good.
And then the last one. Pnub ha pone. That would be gold and stone. No, gold under stone. The gold is under the stone.
The gold is under the stone. There we go. I was going to ask you to get it into a full sentence, and you did. So yeah, very good. See, that wasn't
I didn't even look at
terrible
my
at all.
answers.
That went really well, in my opinion. So yeah.
I didn't even glance at my answers either.
All the better. Who have I not called on? I know I haven't called on someone. Have I called on everyone? Okay, does anyone want to take the next three? Do we have volunteers?
I can go.
Okay, go ahead, Ralph.
Pajome hipone.
Good.
The book is on the stone.
Yep.
Pe hichin pitao. The house is upon the mountain, or up on the mountain.
Good.
In the Rome hichin pitao, the people are on the mountain.
Yeah, good. It was a good idea to translate that people too. It literally means men, but ancient Egypt was a male-dominated society, and it's reflected in the language in this way. That in Rome really means the people. There's also the word laos, which is the Greek word for people that gets used a lot, but yeah. Okay, and then we just have two left. Who's going to do those last two? Who will volunteer.
nobody else wants to, I can go again.
Okay, Salary, go ahead.
All right. Tesime men nrome. No, prome. Yeah.
Good.
Tesime men prome. And that would be the women. No, the woman is in the company of the man.
Yeah, good. And you
Okay.
translated that as a complete sentence. You did a good job. So if we saw this phrase totally out of context, teshime men prome, that could mean the woman and the man. But when it's meant to be a complete sentence, it's got to be like the woman is with the man. So you did it correctly.
Yeah, so Najome, I don't know if I pronounced that long enough. Najome, humpe, and that would be the books are within the house.
Yeah, good. And this word, it has two vowels in it, right? But that actually represents vowel plus glottal stop. So you don't have to say jo me. You can say in jo me with a little like hitch for the glottal stop, or you can actually omit the glottal stop in pronunciation because it was sometimes omitted. So you can say in jo me or in jo me, either one.
Okay.
Okay, great job. Let me look at my agenda and see what's next. Okay, so next we actually go to the book. We're going to go through this very quickly. We're going to go through lesson 2. And how this works generally is in class, I'll just go kind of briefly run through the lesson. So you've seen everything at least once. And then on your own, you should go ahead and read the chapter and then do the exercises. So in lesson 2, we're learning about the indefinite article. There are 2 indefinite articles in Coptic, the singular and the plural. You might notice that this differs a little bit from the definite article pattern, which was pa, ta, na. There's like masculine, feminine, and plural. In the indefinite article, there's only one for both masculine and feminine. And this word, u, originally came from the words wa or we, that mean one. So wa is the masculine one, and we is the feminine one. And then they just both become u as the indefinite article. And this is analogous to what happened with English, what happened with, French and Spanish, where the word for one becomes the indefinite article. So, for instance, Latin unus becomes Spanish uno. Same thing happened in Egyptian. And then there's a plural definite article, which we often translate as some, just to show that it's there, which is hen. And this is a shortened form of huina, that means some. So ujoi, a ship, henajeu, some ships, urome, a man, henrome, some men, uhye, a road, and henhyalwe, some roads.
Question.
Yeah?
I was thinking about this earlier. Would it be like, for instance, ujoy or woodjoy? Like a
Great
very
question.
W sound.
Yeah, I meant to mention that actually. So this grapheme, this Omicron Epsilon U grapheme really has 2 possibilities. It can be U or it can be W. So it can be more like a vowel or more like a consonant. And it really depends mostly on context. So if it's preceding a vowel, it will tend to become more like a W. And if it's preceding a consonant, it will tend to become an U. Do I have any native Egyptian Arabic speakers in here?
Yes.
Haitham, can you say, trying to think of an example sentence. Can you translate into Egyptian Arabic, and he was here?
وهو كان هنا.
Okay, so when you say wahua, are you saying wahua with a W, or are you saying uhua?
لا وهو.
Which one do you think it is, W or U?
No, it's a W.
It's W.
Yes.
Okay.
At least this is how I pronounce it.
Yeah, I think we could go out like on the streets of Cairo and find someone who pronounces it as a vowel instead of as a W. They tend to vary. So the way you said it is wah. So you said, let me just get a little text screen here so I can type. I'm just going to use IPA for convenience. So I think you said this, wahua. But I think there are probably other people who would say this, uhua. And then I really need a better Arabic example. Haitham, can you think of any examples where like the wa changes into an u?
My mind is blank. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can think of one actually. There's that Rashid Taha song that's like Qablek Ukabli. I mean, I've never learned that dialect of Arabic, but it's like this in IPA. So like before you and before me. I think that's it. Or like your, yeah. And then it becomes an u because it's before this like velar stop. So yeah, it just depends. That's a long explanation to say it's both, depending on the context. Yeah, really great question. Got into some phonetics. Anyone else have any questions about this? Okay, if not, we'll just go through. There's a little wrinkle to the adverbial sentence. So indefinite nouns cannot be used as subjects of sentences with adverbial predicates. And when I say adverbial sentence, I really mean sentence with adverbial predicate, right? Just I'm just using a kind of a shorthand for that. So the point here is that indefinite nouns cannot be used as subjects. So you wouldn't say u hello hi tehye. You wouldn't actually make just that sentence. Wow, I'm really bad at highlighting for some reason. You wouldn't make just this sentence in Coptic. It's technically allowed, but it just sounds a little weird. You could say hello hi tehye. Oh, I aspirated at that time. Hello hi tehye. The old man is on the road. But if you want to say an old man is on the road, you should say when u hello hi tehye. And when is just something, it's kind of like a verb. We might call it a verboid. And it means there is or there are. So translated, this means literally there is a old man on the road. And it's analogous to English. So in English, you might say the man is on the road, but you probably wouldn't say a man is on the road with the indefinite article. You would probably instead say there is a man on the road. And that's just because when we have an indefinite noun, we often want to establish the existence of this thing before we say something about it. So when I say a man, I'm assuming the existence of a man, and I want to first say, well, there is a man and he's on the road. If I say the man, I'm talking about something that we already both know about, a specific man, in which case I don't need to establish its existence. So yeah, you use when for there is, and then if you want to say there is not an old man on the road, you use men. And so these are just the affirmative and negative versions of each other, when and men, whatever. Also, men.
Same with one word for the Middle Egyptian.
Yeah.
Something similar function.
Yeah, it's the same word, actually. This is the Coptic descendant of that word. And men is the Coptic descendant of nenwen from Late Egyptian. It just got merged all into men.
Yes.
And these, in Bohairic, we have fuller spellings. So in Bohairic, this word is one, with an omicron, one. And then this word is emon, with an omicron here. So we can tell that, you know, how that all works. Okay, so we have some examples here. Men hela hi dehye, there is no old man on the road. Men rome hempe, there is no man in the house.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
That word men is used for with or and in like the previous exercises. Are we just supposed to know by context that in this case it's being used as a negation?
Yes, and as a general rule, everything in Coptic works that way. So Coptic just has a ton of homophones, and you have to just know which one it is. That's why reading practice is so important. So I don't know if I mentioned this before in this class, but I want to have two possible options after this course. I want to have Coptic reading practice and earlier hieroglyphic Egyptian. And Coptic reading practice is really, really important for getting these kind of things. You just have to see, you just have to read a whole lot, and then you'll just kind of know which one to pick.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, and then to negate this sentence, you use this word on, which is just like the general negative word in Coptic. So we would say prome hempei, the man is in the house. And then to say the man is not in the house, you say prome hempei on. That's it. Makes it negative. And then we have the preposition of the genitival or possessive relationship is en, or it can become m by assimilation. So pei in prome, the house of the man, or shere intasime, the daughter of the woman. There's another wrinkle here, and Lambden's explanation is actually not entirely correct. So I'm going to underline this. He says, if the first noun is indefinite, as in this example, u jotme, then the preposition inte is used instead of en. That's not exactly true. The way it really works is that the preposition en is like saying literally that which is of. So pei, that which is of prome, the house, the one which is of the man. Inte is like saying incidentally belonging to. So it's a less direct sort of defining relationship. These prepositions have two slightly different meanings. So this would be a book which happens to belong to the old man. That's not how we're defining the book. That's not an intrinsic feature of the book. It just happens to also be true. This is the same difference that you have in English between that in a defining relative clause and which in a non-defining relative clause. So there is a statistical correlation between definite nouns and indefinite nouns and the defining preposition and the non-defining preposition, but it's only a correlation. It's not a perfect rule. So it's better to think of this, en means the one that belongs to, and inte means which happens to belong to. And that's not a really important nuance that you need to memorize right now either. We'll see plenty of examples. So you have your vocabulary. Oh, sorry, are there any questions about this stuff?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
When hen comes in front of a word that begins with a vowel, does the n become the onset of the next syllable, or do we insert a glottal stop in between hen and the next word?
Like I'm gonna make an example to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So if you had an example like here, we have prome him bei on. Let's say we had, I can't get that to move. Okay. Let's say instead we had prome hen. I need something that begins with a vowel. Hen u genepor. The man is on a roof. So you're saying, would we still pronounce this as hen? Because like phonetically, we actually have pa, maybe a vowel in here, prome, hen, actually probably this H, probably pharyngeal, pharyngeal. And then we have like maybe a short vowel in here, N, and then oo. How do I do that? Genepor. Okay, so do we actually need the vowel in here because this is actually just a cluster of two consonants? I think no. I think you can say promeh nu genepor. I think the vowel gets syncopated because it's a short vowel in an open syllable. So syncopated means it gets cut out, basically. Gosh, that's terrible to try to look at. It's so tiny. Can everyone see this a little better? So yeah, I think because we have a vowel going with each consonant, we actually don't need any vowel in here. And I think that's actually what the superlinear stroke means. So in Bohairic, the little superlinear, the equivalent is a little tick mark, and it's called the jinkim. And jinkim literally in Coptic means movement. And I think that's what they're illustrating with that. The fact that there might be a vowel on either side of it, or it might be a syllabic letter. It just depends on the context where exactly that vowel goes.
Right.
And that's something that comes about naturally as you're speaking quickly. Prome, I need to practice it a few times. Prome henu genipor, prome henu genipor, prome nu genipor, genipor. Yeah, if you say it 10 times fast, you might end up losing that vowel naturally without having to work at it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What about with the plural indefinite article? Like,
it always has a vowel. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It can be the same exact word. It can also be hen, spelt just like the preposition.
Right. So like in bread, right there, or the like in some ships, right there.
Yeah.
Like in henejeo. Would that be henejeo or henejeo?
Say those two again.
Henejeo with a glottal stop between the n and the e, or henejeo.
I'll let you answer that question. So this is the word the ships. Do you see evidence of a glottal stop there?
No.
No. So the answer is no. And I think what's probably happening is that Janja was originally a palatalized D, which in IPA looks like this, or it was a voiceless, which in IPA just looks like the letter C, which is a bit confusing. But it's really like D plus ya, so ned jiao, and it's actually two consonants, or it can be interpreted as two consonants. Like, so you would have N, jiao, probably a diphthong like that. And then you would tend to get a little short vowel in here, so ned jiao. And then eventually it becomes an affricate, so ned jiao. But yeah, that e is probably an epenthetic e, which means that it doesn't have a glottal stop in front of it because we just put in that vowel.
I see.
Is that the same letter G letter from Middle Egyptian or something different?
Yeah, I'll tell you which letter it is in Middle Egyptian. It is this guy.
Yeah, okay.
And it actually comes from this sign, the jaw sign. In group writing, the jaw sign is actually used for this Janja sound. And then it gets abbreviated over time and turns into that. So yeah.
Okay, so if we had like house then, which we had evidence of a glottal stop for, then we could have like hen a.
Yeah, exactly.
Great, thank you.
Okay, great questions. Any more questions about this lesson? I'm just going to write a note about this to put it in the syllabus, because this is a really great example. Okay.
I had a short question.
Yeah.
Given that in is hen and the indefinite article for plural is hen, if you said in some ships, would it be hen henajeo?
Yes. Hen henajeo. Yeah. And we do this all the time. We do this in English. Like, I think that is the one I want. That. But they're two different that's, right? Same thing in hen henajeo. It's two different hens. But it does get confusing when you're first learning to read because there are so many things that are written exactly the same, but you just get used to it. You start hearing the words in your head and you just interpret it automatically. Okay, yeah, any last questions about the lesson? Okay, well, if there are none, then I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go ahead and end for this week. Yeah, and I will just, y'all have a great week. I'll see you all next Saturday, same time.
Thanks, Christian.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
See you next